Andrew here with Right Channel Radios, and in this video I'm going to talk about some important things to know about radios and antennas, what components you need for a full install, what components work together when you're selecting different parts, and finally, important things to know when you're thinking about how to install a radio in your vehicle. So quickly, in the US at least, you don't need a license to operate a CB radio. You're roughly going to get probably about 1 to 10 miles of range based on the conditions and the equipment that you buy. And at least here at Right Channel, we specialize in truck, 4x4, and heavy-duty use CB equipment. So here's what you need for a complete CB install. You're going to need a radio, of course. You're going to need an antenna, of course. You're going to need a mount, and this is what's going to mount the antenna to your vehicle. And then finally, you're going to need some coax cable to connect the antenna to your radio. Which radio is best? Well, this is a pretty popular question. And it's important to know that all CBs, for the most part, transmit at 4 watts of power. So if you spend $150 on a radio versus 50, you might be getting a few extra features, but you're not going to be getting more power, which is going to translate to being able to talk further or receive further. It's really the antenna that's important when it comes to the range you're going to experience with your CB. So you should be picking a radio based on features, how big it is, how well it fits your vehicle, the specific feature set and bells and whistles, and not on range. What antenna is best? Well, the performance of the antenna is really going to depend on how good of an antenna it is in terms of build quality, the length of the antenna, longer is better, and where you install it on your vehicle. But it really depends in terms of what antenna is going to be best for you. It depends on your vehicle, primarily because picking a mounting location is very vehicle specific. Some vehicles are great to mount in the back, some are great to mount in the front. It really depends on your vehicle, and that's something that we're going to talk about extensively in the next video in this series, which is picking the right CB equipment. What works together? Let's talk about this because the different components can tie people up when putting a system together. In terms of radio, connecting the coax cable to your radio, you don't have to worry about that. Any coax you buy is going to fit your radio. That little barrel connection on every coax cable that we offer is going to hook right up with the port on the back of your radio. Let's talk about mounts and how they work. So this is a mount that we sell, and it's made up of 2 parts. You have the mount portion on the left there. It's an L bracket that hooks up to pretty much any vertical surface. And then you have the antenna stud, and this is the device that allows your antenna and your coax to be able to connect to the mounting surface. So this is the same mount on the left, a different view, and you can see the stud on the top portion. Again, the stud's that cylindrical top portion. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the exploded version of the stud. The stud can be removed, and so you can really pair up. Most mounts are going to come with a stud, but you can also pair up any stud with any mount. So you can see there the top portion exploded and the bottom portion exploded. So the top portion there, that's where the antenna is going to screw into, and the coax is going to connect to the bottom portion of your stud. You can see here's how it looks actually in an installed vehicle. A little hard to distinguish where one part ends and the other begins. So that boxed portion there, that's the actual stud, and you can see the antenna coming out of the top and the coax coming out of the bottom. So let's talk about how the coax connects to a stud. There's 2 different types of connections for studs and coax. One's the barrel type connection, you've already seen that, and the other is the ring style. Here's the barrel type again, just one more time. You should be familiar with this after the last couple slides. That barrel, kind of cylindrical shape on the stud, is going to match up really well with the barrel on your coax. The other type is ring style, and this is nice if you don't want the coax to come down at like a straight down from your mounting surface. Maybe it's a really tight area, and it's also a little bit better for really durability. These ring styles tend to have less metal parts, they don't rust quite as easily, and they're also just a little bit more durable. They use what's called a lug style stud, and you can see here there's no barrel on the bottom of this stud. So if you see a mount or a stud that doesn't have that barrel connection on the bottom, you're probably going to want to use a ring style connection. If you're a little overwhelmed by all the different, what stud do I need? What coax? Don't worry at all. It's really easy to mix and match. And so if you happen to order the wrong thing, we'll do our best to make sure we switch that out on the order when we see it. And if not, we'll send you a free stud to pair up with your kit after the fact at no charge to you here at Right Channel. In terms of hooking up your antenna to your mount and your stud, that's also going to be really universal. You can see on the left, those are the threads that are going to be attached to pretty much any antenna that we sell, and they're going to fit up perfectly with the top of any stud that we sell, so you don't have to worry about compatibility issues there as well. So again, you can see there, that's just how the antenna is going to match up to the stud, just the same picture as before. So mounting a radio, how do you do that into your vehicle? Well, a lot of different ways people can do this. Every radio is going to come with a L bracket mount, and you can mount that L bracket to pretty much to any surface you want, onto your dash, underneath your vehicle, in terms of on the underside of your dash, up on a roll cage bar. Lots of options there, but you are going to have a mounting bracket with every radio. In terms of powering your radio, every radio is also going to come with a power cord that plugs in the back of your radio and has two bare wire ends, a positive lead and then a negative ground. And so a lot of different ways you can do that. You can use a fuse tapper. If you go to pretty much any hardware store or auto parts store, we also sell them here at Right Channel. You can use a fuse tapper to tap into it, tap into your fuse box and create a really easy way to power it. We also sell cigarette adapters that let you easily power your radio using the cigarette adapter. If you're comfortable with it, you can connect right into the wiring of your vehicle, pretty much any wiring spot along the entire dashboard. And you can also wire it directly to your battery. Antenna tuning is an important concept. You may hear about this as you're shopping for a kit for your vehicle. And it's important once you get everything installed to match your antenna to your vehicle. It's kind of an odd concept, but your antenna is using the metal surface of your vehicle to help transmit and receive a signal. And because all vehicles are different, the ideal length of your antenna needs to be adjusted after being installed to match up with your vehicle. So almost all of our antennas are going to have a little screw, a little set screw at the top of the antenna. And the way tuning works is you take a little meter like this, or some radios will have a meter that you can use, and you take some readings on the meter, and then based on those readings, you either lengthen or shorten your antenna length. And we're talking about millimeters here. So you'll either unscrew that screw just a little bit on the top of your antenna or tighten it up just a little bit. And it's really important to do this because it can mean the difference between an antenna that gives you great range and performance and one that doesn't work properly. So again, you do need an SWR meter, but a lot of radios have them built in. If not, we sell them for about $25. So that's it for the fundamentals video. In our next video, we're going to talk about how to pick the right equipment for your specific vehicle. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty about radios, bells, and whistles. We're going to talk about different antenna types, different mounting locations, and what you should be thinking about given the type of vehicle that you have. So you can check that out in our Learning Center, which you may be watching this video on already. And if not, head on over to rightchannelradios.com. Thanks a lot.